Hi, everyone. First of all, I will be giving you tips. So, I will give some options on how to select your topic. I know that it is difficult when deciding on a topic for your research paper. Um, these are not steps that you have to follow, so you don't have to do all of these. I will be giving you three options and two examples for each options. You only have to choose one so that you will have a place to start, okay? So the first option is to look at people around you who needs help. A lot of students Google words like research topics for senior high school, and then you will see problems such as drug addiction, STD, eating disorders, communication, etc. But I think it is best that you look around you first, and you might want to do something for other people within your range, within your reach. For example, if you have a sibling, a 2 year old brother who is a toddler and who is a picky eater, he doesn't want to eat anything but junk food or fast food. And you know how important eating nutritious food is for growing children, right? Then try to think of a possible solution. Read something about it. Some people strategize by making decorative meals for them or make a special recipe. As you read, you will be able to associate this in different perspectives. One perspective is from your brother's perspective, the picky eater. He does not want to eat, so he gets hungry. So it could hinder his growth and mental development. And he might also develop ulcer because he's not eating much. Another way to look at this is the parent's perspective. How does this affect their finances if they keep on buying special food for him? Another perspective is education. What if a lot of children are more into eating fast food and not getting enough nutritious food? Maybe a lot of children will grow with disabilities. And this becomes a bigger problem in our society, not just your brother, right? So when you look at the different aspects, you make sure that this is within your abilities. You you can't be interviewing specialists, for example, and talk to them about uh, brains or mental development because they might be too technical. Some terms might be too much for you to understand. So try to choose the perspectives that is within your abilities. Okay? And then the second example is say your friend is brokenhearted because her long time relationship ended and you want to help her. You might know other people who have experienced the pain of being heartbroken and were able to move on. So you're not going to have a research about your friend as to why she broke up with her boyfriend, but in wanting to help her, you research about how to move on. I'm just citing that um, any people that you want to help could be a potential inspiration for your research. When you come across of a situation in your everyday life, try to look at things in different perspective. When your friend was heartbroken, it is not only her perspective that you might want to look at. You might want to look at the perspective of her family member. Does her state affect them too? What about her classmates or her coworkers? What could go wrong if this is not addressed? You are worried about your friend, so by asking this question, you will now be able to associate words that not with what you see in the internet, but with your imagination. If this is not addressed, she might be in a state of depression. She might probably will have eating disorder, or who knows, she might commit suicide. I hope not. Then you read articles or studies based on these keywords so that you can have a broader understanding of this topic. You see, when you Google about research topics for high school students, when you type in those words, you will see topics like poverty, depression, education, social media. And when you see these broad terms, the tendency is you lose your focus. So why not start with something you really want to do? You help the people around you. So these two examples that I just gave you, first the toddler and then the people who experience breaking up, it covers a big age range. You know, when you think about your topic, like I said, you should also be thinking of your respondents. In most cases, when students propose their research topic, their respondents are limited to grade 1 students or senior high school students only or college students. You have to think about who experienced breaking up. These are people as young as 14 years old, right? 14 years old and up. So you have a wider range of respondents. Depending on the topic, those who have experienced such a thing, you know, being heartbroken. The second option is pick a topic that interests you. So this could be your hobbies, your passion, or your weaknesses. Since you will be taking much time dealing with this topic, why not choose the one that you are passionate about or something that you want to improve on? During research, you have to think that you will be able to find relevant information that can contribute to the body of knowledge. It is not only solving problems all the time, but also to be able to convey to others that, you know, one particular strategy worked for you or a product that you developed worked and other people might want to try it. Sometimes you might want to replicate what others have already researched about, but with slight variation. Perhaps you know that the culture of Japanese are different from Filipinos, so you might want to replicate the same research, but because of the difference in culture, your study might not yield the same results. In this example, your passions are music and teaching, and your weakness is playing the piano. You have always wanted to learn how to play the piano, but you didn't have lessons when you were young, so you don't know how to play it. According to others, it would be difficult to learn piano when you are above the age of 12. So in this case, you're above 12 years old, you're older, you still want to learn how to play the piano, and so you experiment. You create a strategy that you would like to work for you and for others too. Then you read other research to broaden your perspectives. And the perspective of a learner, for example, you might want to study on the efficacy, like will they be able to tolerate the difficulty of making time to study playing the piano while they are doing other tasks, such as if they are working or if they are still a student. In other perspective, the perspective of teachers, what could be the best way in teaching piano for adults? Now, in the perspective of helping or healing, now how can music work as a therapy to someone who is in pain? For example, to someone who is brokenhearted, like your friend. Okay? And then the other example is few students have proposed research on K-drama. However, it was too superficial. They've always been interested in K-drama, so that's why they are proposing on K-drama as their uh, topic for their research. However, when they presented to us, when they proposed, there's just no depth to it, so we rejected the proposal. I find some K-drama though to be interesting. Like example, It's Okay Not to Be Okay. Um, there are 16 episodes in this series, and each of the series is linked to a particular fairy tale, a book. It is it is a somewhat dark romantic film, but I think this drama can be associated with culture, literature, relationships, or language. This could be done. Could this could be um, one research topic that students will be able to engage in when they research about the worthiness of watching K dramas. And then the third option is pick a topic where material is available. So it could be a current social or political controversy. Um, this is true for the other two options that I mentioned. Okay, ensure that there are reading materials out there that you can read about. If it is controversial, that means that this is being talked about a lot. And therefore, most likely, you will be able to find a lot of reading materials about this topic. Now, if you have a strong opinion about this, then you might want to research on this. For example, I'm sure you know what this picture is, right? COVID 19 has affected the lives of people all over the world in different walks of life, rich or poor, from babies to elderly. So, COVID 19 is a global phenomenon. There's no doubt about it. And there's a lot of materials out there. Also, there's a lot of aspects, any directions you want to look at, such as in the aspect of medicine. But I think this aspect is more of for the experts as they search for the cure. But there are different aspects, such as business. As you know, some businesses still cannot operate at this time. And then social, like mass gathering is still prohibited, and some areas are still under lockdown. Travel, as you know, people coming from different countries are still banned to enter our country, and therefore it has affected our tourism industry. And of course, education. Depending on where you stand, you might view problems as a student, as a parent, as a teacher, etc. I have to say also that while you think about your research topic, you have to be mindful of the time constraints and the expertise of the researchers. Since um, you are only given a few months to conduct your research, you have to make sure that time is not an issue and that the terms or jargons used by your respondents are within your comprehension level. Okay? And then another example is Trump's social media accounts were suspended. Not only his Twitter, but also his Facebook account and his YouTube account and his other small media, social media accounts. Um, and to think he's the president of the US, but his account was suspended by an American firm. Um, and there's a lot of topics about this because this is being debated right now. So for sure, there are a lot of materials out there that you can read about. As you may have seen the news, because of Trump's tweets and his speech during a rally, people followed him and stormed inside the US Capitol. So you might want to research this from different views. From the view of a social media giant, like what policies did he violate? Is it justified? And this did this happen only with the US president, or did they ban other government officials in different countries? So this type of research is more on historical because you will be looking at books or news articles. So you'll be reading a lot and your time might not be enough. So you can probably disregard that. How about those people who stormed the rally? You might want to research about what their side is and is it justified? How about the side of Trump and his supporters? How about the perspective of people outside the US? There's a lot of other social and political controversies happening right now locally, and there are a lot of reading materials available if it is controversial. And then one caveat, your topic provides the subject, and research makes an assertion about that subject. So you have to be able to affirm that, yeah, this problem exists. So you need to identify your focus. If someone asks about what your research is focused on, you can either answer that it is about wanting to discover why it happens, or you want to build or do something, a strategy or anything tangible that can be used for your research. You can always make a distinction. So let's talk about discovery. Let's say discovery is your focus. Remember COVID 19 last year? We hardly know anything about this virus, even up to now. But we know more about it now than a year ago because of research. We wanted to discover by asking the five W's, the who, what, when, where, and the how. So now we were able to know how to prevent getting COVID 19. That's why experts are telling us to wash our hands frequently and the proper way on how to wash them. And we have to stay home and practice social distancing, lockdowns, etc. Now, in this example, taken from the previous examples that I just mentioned about getting heartbroken, you can create research questions that is focused on discovery. You want to discover on how does breaking up affect someone's FB account? How do they choose what virtual memorabilia to keep? See, if you are in a relationship with someone, you might store a lot of pictures with your loved ones, with your boyfriend, with your other friends. So, what are you going to do with those pictures? Are you going to delete them all or not? How are you going to choose? Which ones are you going to keep and which ones are you going to delete? Are you going to deactivate your Facebook account after your breakup? So, these are questions that you can ask. You just wanted to discover, okay, what will happen or why will it happen? And then the second example, the focus is also discovery. You want to discover the educational value and the effect to the viewers in literature. I'm curious if viewers watched it because the protagonists are good looking, right? So, yeah, that's it. And then, um, okay, this is an example of the second focus, which is the build or do something. Um, so, have you ever wondered why big companies such as Apple or Samsung keep on developing new phones? Like, if you buy a phone today, next year it's already old because they released a new one, right? So, in our examples on wanting to play the piano, you want to make a strategy so that adults can learn how to play the piano. So, you have to build or create a particular strategy. Um, some people believes that if you are more than 12 years old, it would be difficult to learn the piano. One researcher makes a strategy, then another researcher read your research paper and improve that strategy, and then it goes on and on and on. It just keeps on improving. Um, That's what's happening with these phones. It just keeps on improving and improving. And then in another example on the picky eater, we can develop a menu for children to encourage them to eat nutritious food. Researchers can make different recipes to be able to develop a 1 week menu for a child. And then other researchers will try to develop more 1 week menu until hundreds or thousands will be developed for parents to choose which menus can be best for their children. And then again, it goes on and on and on. So that's basically contributing to the body of knowledge. So, what makes a good research question? Um, in selecting topics for your research, it is best that this is out of your own curiosity. So that's why you have to look first around you, um, whether you want to help them or not. It's in your own will, your own curiosity, if you can help them or not. So it should be generated out of the student's own curiosity and passion. Um, ask questions worth asking. What are these questions worth asking? Do you know the quote from Albert Einstein? I'm sorry I did not put it here, but I just remembered. Einstein said that the quote from Einstein was, if I have 1 hour to solve a problem and my life depended on the solution, I would spend the first 55 minutes determining the right questions to ask. For once I know the proper question, I could solve the problem in less than 5 minutes. So that's what this is all about. Ask a question worth asking. Okay, so if you do not have the right question, you will not be able to solve the problem. And then the next one is the questions are not trivial, meaning shallow. Um, you know already the answer to that question, so why asked, right? For example, example of a very trivial question is, what are the disadvantages and disadvantages in staying home during lockdown? You know already the advantages and disadvantages to this, so why do you even ask? Or another one, there was this research proposal about sales of clothes during the pandemic. So the question was, which sales was higher during the pandemic, the online or the in-store sales? And you know the answer to that already, right? And then the next one is sharply focused. Um, it means that there should be clear evidences emerging in your research. So it should be sharply focused. And then the next one, um, arguments can be supported with obtainable evidences. It can make it means that it can make connections between published research on a topic and your own critical analysis and evaluation. So there should be a lot of materials there as well. So to recap, when selecting a topic, you must imagine the answers, your respondents, the probable solutions, and consequences if you don't do anything about it. You have to keep being curious, because if you are curious, you would want to explore or to discover or do something to answer your curiosity. Now, Einstein's saying that imagination is the highest form of research is so true, because without it, without imagination, there won't be research, because imagination is the start of the research process. So good luck to all of you in choosing a topic for your research. I'll see you soon. Bye bye.